a CDC color presentation.
Home, past yards and backs of houses, washing, flapping wheels, clacking on the steel track that lead the way. The girl lives another day, and she looks into her crystal ball, hoping that she may read all the changes tomorrow's eyes will see. But it's just a matter of time, and there she'll be. Getting up, she starts the day the same way, bacon sizzling, water drizzling on her window pane. The sky is gray, the girl begins another day. And she looks into her teacup leaves, hoping that she may read all the changes tomorrow's lips will taste. But it's just a matter of time, and it must wait. Another day in shadows with no faces, and names with no places, and every word she tries to say comes out like an empty page. Lonely girl, she's looking to tomorrow for today. Her palm to read the lines that just might hold the speed of changes tomorrow's hands will feel. But it's just a matter of time, and time's unreal. Going through another day of shadows with no faces, and names with no places. And every word she tries to say comes out like an empty page. Lonely girl, she's looking to tomorrow for today. Looking to tomorrow for today. Looking to tomorrow for today.
Thank you. Oh, it was wonderful. That group, by the way, is called Spring, and our entire show today is devoted to them and their music. They won't be playing other people's hits. They'll be playing their own music. That song, Looking to Tomorrow, was written by the intense-looking gentleman with the fake mustache and Van Dyke on the organ, Bob Buckley. And we'll be getting into more of Spring's music on today's show, as well as Donovan's interview on Where It's At.
Billboard stand, far away from the shrill chord of despair, and I will know you well. The soft leaves on a peaceful tree, the subtle breeze on a gentle sea. It's up to me to be free. Island Citadel. Citadel. You've been there for uncounted years. You'll be there for unbounded new ideas. And you will know me well. Breathing down a new day, it's flying. Free to drown in a maze of time. 'Cause freedom is a frame of mind. Take me there. Take me there. Take me there. Citadel, Citadel. Citadel, Citadel.
That was called Island Citadel, and it was also written by Bob Buckley. And Bob also composed the electronic music on the tape, right? That you played? That was Bob's. And so I'd like to talk a little bit with a fellow who should know, Milt Brodie here, about the local music scene in our town. There's a great deal of interest in local music scenes right across the country. A new record just in by Motherlode from the East, where a group of people got together and jammed in Toronto. And that's happening out here a lot. And there are a lot of groups who are now recording out here. You've been involved in that, Milt. What's happening?
Well, in the last 6 months, there have been 2 brand new studios opened up. One is actually 2 in operation right now, 8-track studios. There are 2 4-track studios. I understand there are at least 2 more 4-track studios about to be opened. It looks pretty good. There have been several publishing companies recently open up, and beyond that, BMI, which is the Publishers and Composers Protective Association, have opened an office, and it's the only office west of Toronto and north of Los Angeles. And it's in
Vancouver.
Yeah. And it really looks good for the musical scene. There's a lot of support pouring into the city. I've been watching most of the groups, as many as I can get around to see, for the last year now. And they've all really picked up. They've all improved fantastically. Their music is becoming more sophisticated and much deeper. Spring have been together about 6 months, I think, and of course they're experienced musicians, and they write some out-of-sight material, and they're just one indication. I mean, what the people are watching today is an indication of what's happening musically in Vancouver. There's kind of a warm and funky sound. It's not cold and hard and precise.
Let's get back into that. I don't know whether you can get a close-up or not, but this is a little spring button of some kind or another. You figure it out. This is called I Am a Child, Spring.
I am a child, I last a while. You can't conceive of the pleasure in my smile. You hold my hand, ruffle up my hair. It's lots of fun to have you there. I'll give to you now, you give to me. I'd like to know what you've learned. The sky is blue and so is the sea. What is the color when black is brown? What is the color of love? You are a man, you understand. You pick me up and you lay me down again. You make the rules, you say what's fair. It's lots of fun to have you there. I'll give to you, now you give to me. I'd like to know what you've learned. The sky is blue and so is the sea. What is the color when black is brown? What is the color of love?
We've done a whole lot of interviews over the last couple of years for Where It's At, myself and people like Terry Mulligan, and we haven't shown them all at once, and yet we've had a tremendous response to those interviews, in particular interviews like the Donovan interview, which is up and coming, like Jimi Hendrix. We hope to get a new Glenn Campbell interview. However, this is in black and white, this Donovan interview, so don't go adjusting your sets if you have a color set. It's all black and white. We started the thing about 6 months ago, and Donovan was here in town. He said these things. Donovan, your music has evolved tremendously over the last few years, from colors right up to Where You Love Like Heaven to Valenia. Tell us about some of the changes that you've gone through. You've obviously been through a lot of different changes. Your music has changed.
I think the songs will probably tell more than I could. They always do because they're just naked.
But they're only songs, and the personal aspect is never known, you know.
Well, they are the personal aspects. They're the naked bits, you know, that you don't talk about such a lot. I just came through the regular changes. I haven't thought much about it because I'm a young man and I'm a young writer and haven't developed. Maybe when I'm old and grey I could work out an autobiography and realise what it's about. But right now I'm just grooving along with it.
Mm-hmm. Was there ever a period where you had to sort of make up your mind that you were going to do commercial things?
No.
Right.
There was one change.
Thinking of Mickey Most?
There was one change when I started being with Mickey Most as a producer, and he made some hit records with me. But they're great. They're great adverts, great ads for albums, hit singles. And one day that the charts will be full of good music.
It's happening now, I think.
Yeah. But it takes a while. You've got a lot of bad music as well.
There seems to be, at least from my point of view, maybe you disagree, there seems to be a kind of a lull in the pop music scene right now.
Yeah, I think a lot of singers they've been recording a lot, and they've been in the game 5 years or so, and they're missing playing live, and there's a direction to be found, a new direction.
Feedback?
No, more of a natural reaction again, you know, back to natural singing. That's why you've got Hey Jude and sing-along songs and things like that. Not so much revolution, just songs that anybody can sing, like Beatles in England done a television show and brought all the audience on behind the cameras and gave them instruments to play and just play along because the new music has got no variety qualities like the old variety that you go on stage and you turn on a different act. You know, the musician and the real one is the same on stage as he is off, and that's where it's changing to. It's more natural, you know, relaxed.
The reason I mentioned this lull is because it seems to me that around 1961, 62, there was also a lull. There was when records like Tell Laura I Love Her and these terrible things were on the charts. And from that emerged, you know, the English sound, the Beatles and the Stones and everybody. And I wonder if you have any predictions about what's next, because
there's no more gimmicks. I don't think it's gimmicks anymore. I think pop music is just being a beautiful vehicle for all the arts and everything. And it's all just coming into the pop music and going out. And the people who are aware of that are happy. And the people who are not aware of it still treat it as pop music. But you'll find that the books and all the poetry books and all the serious writings of the last generation are mirrored in this generation. And they're coming out on wax, not on paper. And that's great, because the wax can go out to more people than the books can.
You mentioned Hey Jude, the other side, Revolution. employs a lot of the early rock techniques. It's got the fuzz tone guitar and the little Richard hammering piano. And a lot of people are saying, you know, rock and roll is coming back. Do you
No, I
think
think it's just the Beatles have always been rock and roll, but they're beautiful ballad writers as well. And they just don't want to flash on everybody saying, well, it doesn't matter. Music is music. It's just going on and on.
What kind of a life do you lead when you're not touring around and recording and busy being Donovan?
It's a very quiet life.
Do you live in London?
No, in the country. I don't live a fast pop star life at all.
One would gather by listening to your music and by seeing particularly your album From a Flower to a Garden that you're involved in various areas of religious thought, philosophy, etc. Perhaps religious is the wrong word. It's a badly overworked word. But
I don't think we have to use any of the words anymore. It's a beautiful philosophy growing up. It hasn't got any names, hasn't got any tags attached to it. The pure one again. Just a living one, like a farmer's philosophy. And it's not been taught by the poets to the generation. The generation is growing in them. And I'm not so worried about any hippie cults or anything like that. They're byproducts. The real one is all the little ones coming up, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14 years old. They're the ones that are going to make all the new changes, you know.
Mm-hmm. Is your involvement with Maharishi ended, or are you still?
Well, I was with them for a while, but I was never the studious type. I couldn't really study that. And I tried meditation, but I meditated for about half an hour or something. I never got really serious. I'm happy just singing the songs, you know.
Do you have any plans for changes in your act, in your music, in your poetry?
I don't know. I'm ready for any changes, and I don't act really. I just relax.
Routine is a word.
Sing.
They're cumbersome.
Yeah.
What I meant is, do you plan to expand your stage?
Sure. I've given away all the musicians. I haven't used any musicians for a long while, because when I first began, you see, I was a young writer, and I became successful, and all the praise and all the criticism got heaped upon me at the wrong stage in my career. When I'm developed and when I become proficient at the craft of writing, then I can be criticized on it. But I was criticized then, so there was a little detour. Now it's 3 years later. I can begin again to study and learn what my craft is, writing. So I've returned just to guitar, and tonight I'm going on stage just with a guitar and sing some songs, how they're written, not how they come out on the records. So the only time I use musicians now is if they're family or brothers or friends, when the music can be pure.
I think your father introduces you, does he not, on stage?
Last time, but not this time.
Not this time.
Give him a rest.
You, unlike a lot of performers, do the whole show yourself, 2.5 hours of Donovan. Does that take a lot out of you?
No, I have enough songs.
Yeah.
And if the people have enough patience to listen, we have a good time.
That was Donovan Leitch, and we'll have more Spring in 1 minute.
Step out in the night when you get so lonely. Listen to the sounds city ears don't hear. I know your cross is getting heavier with every step. But I know a man who walks miles for you. Stop. Fade away your arms. Take a look at yourself. Take a good look at yourself. Can't run to mama. She'd only tell you she's so. Some of us are still learning. That's the real trick to life. We all know. Lights flash today at the dawning. Daytime, nighttime, we still don't see. Why must we wait until morning to wake up and see?
That's all our time for today. We've been featuring Spring, so in case you couldn't see Milt Brodie's little spring that he had in his jacket when he was talking about the local music scene, we had it enlarged by stealing a big spring from our mobile unit out back that we used in Mexico. At any rate, thank you, Bob Buckley, for writing the songs and for doing the songs with Spring, and thank you, Terry Frewer, who's about to do one of his own songs, and Bob on drums, and Pete, Spring. Here they are with Bring Yourself Down to Earth, Love and Blues, Baby Please. Love and Baby Blues, please. Here it is.
Bring yourself down. Get yourself together. I don't want no messing around. I don't want no high stone talking out of you. Just want some down to earth loving, baby. Flying far too high won't do. You don't need to dress fine. You don't need no fancy dressing if you're gonna be mine. I'm gonna give you fine, fancy loving before we're through. Oh, you're gonna feel so fine, baby. Fancy dressing just won't matter to you. So bring yourself down. Come on, bring yourself down. Come on, bring yourself down. Just give me simple loving. I don't want no messing around. No. Together, I don't want no messing around. I don't want no high stone talking out of you. Just want some down to earth loving, baby. Flying far too high won't do. You don't need to dress fine. You don't need no fancy dressing if you're gonna be mine. Because